Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you could make it. Thank you so much, and welcome to Madison Goodyear, the
Is that the name of
queen
the
of the
show?
readathon.
The queen of at least one readathon.
You have absolutely blown everybody away in the readathons you've been a part of. Now, Madison is one of the captains for the teams this year for the TBR Quest. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And Mads, I thought, first of all, we should probably talk about our co-captains,
I know, like they're not here right now, so this is the perfect time to kind of like dish, right?
right? Yes, they all suck. They're the worst people ever. We're going to beat them. No.
No way. I hope they all win. No, just kidding.
Right, exactly. So Chelsea is not so secret bookaholic, and she's a fantastic booktuber, and she came along just out of the sweetness and goodness of her heart. And here we go. Zin is immediately off like Madison and I are gonna win. This is the way it's gonna work. It's gonna
I
be the
mean, he
exact
has a
same thing.
point.
And then Beard of Darkness has had a channel going for the last year that's been ripping and roaring and have a grand old time. And he's a sweetheart, and he agreed to come along. And then J.R. Carroll, who's yet another booktuber that was agreeing to come along. And I'm kind of really curious to see what your guys' team names are going to be. Have you given any thought to that yet?
You know I have. My lips are sealed because I don't want to announce it until everyone else announces theirs. But I have a list going of potential team names, but from the get go, I had one that jumped out at me, and I got to follow my gut. So I think I know what mine's going to be.
Okay? So is it TBR Quest themed? Is it summer themed? Is it crazy amazeballs themed? What is it?
It is, sorry, never mind. That would give it away. It
Oh,
is definitely fantasy themed, and I think it goes with the theme of our TBR Quest. Yes.
nice. Going across the four lands. All right, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. So let me bump off there and remove that from stage. Hey, it's Ben.
Hey Ben,
So
are
happy
we
when I
in the
saw the
same
new
book?
readathon. Dude, I got to tell you, on from my perspective, I was so ready to not be thinking about a book and writing it and publishing it. It was like, okay, the first book's going to be done. I need something else to focus on. So this is like this welcome break for me. How about you, Matt?
I'm excited because I've been on like a pretty decent hiatus from Discord specifically, but also, I mean, like I backed off of social media big time. Obviously, I haven't been recording videos for a year up until recently, and it was necessary. But I was telling Andy just before we started, I'm like, dang it, I'm ready to have fun again. Like I'm ready to. I miss my online community, and I will tell you, I was a team captain on the first Keymark readathon, and I made so many friends that time that are still to this day friends that
Yeah.
when I was going through my year of darkness were like great support systems for me. Like Zen in the chat, he always checks in on me. So I was like, I need that in my life again. Like I need that kind of support. I need the fun of it. And then the second one I was on, I was not the captain, but I was on the winning team. And again, in that round, I made friends that are still to this day like important people in my life. And I'm just like, you can never have two many homies. So we're doing this again.
So I had forgotten about this, but you're undefeated.
Yes. I mean, I can't take Tori's credit, but yes, I
No.
am undefeated.
Yeah. Oh, Tori was a magnificent team leader. She was absolutely
That was
phenomenal. So
so
was
fun.
Ben. Melissa's saying she's liking the fact that it's TBR based because it's much cheaper.
I'm not gonna make you buy anything, baby girl. We're going
Mm-hmm.
with what we already have. It's like when your kids want to go to Chick-fil-A and I'm like, we got food at home. We got books at home, you guys. We're not buying anything.
That's right. Well, it's not like any of us are short on our TBR. Like,
Nope.
do you even know how deep yours is?
So my TBR again. So I had a month where I was all willy nilly, or a month, a year. And surprisingly, my reading count didn't take a huge hit, but I didn't plan anything. I was just randomly reading, which was fun and cool. But I'm craving a TBR again. Like I'm craving some structure and a little bit of a schedule. Like you guys know me, I never stuck to my TBRs anyway, but there's something very satisfying about at the beginning of the month mapping out a plan. And sometimes it goes just like you planned, sometimes like nothing is the same. But I am craving a structure. So my TBR, how deep is it? I mean, interestingly enough, I feel like okay, this is going to sound crazy. I am by no means saying that I've arrived or anything, but I look back at this list I curated years ago when I very first started getting back into reading in 2019. And of course, that list just grew and grew and grew because the more you read and the more you make book friends, you learn about more books that you have to read. And this master list, I have whittled it down. I have read most of the things that I was like, I have to get to that. I have to get to that. So I do have my series kind of planned out for the rest of the year. But after that, I'm just hoping that, through meeting you guys and continuing to stay involved and talk grow. But I mean, I probably still have 100 books I want to read, but it seems a lot less daunting than a couple years ago being like, I'll never be able to read all these books in my whole life. And now I'm like, I mean, I'm feeling somewhat caught up, if
I,
that's even a thing.
you have arrived. You have a
No, no,
manageable
no, no, no.
TBR.
Because people will start spouting on the comments like, well, have you read this? Have you read this? And of
Oh
course I
yeah.
haven't.
Oh, I
But I'm
haven't
just
read
saying, of
every
the
book in the
Mount
universe.
Rushmore I created, I really have checked off the big ones. I'm feeling kind of weird about that.
Lonesome Dove, etc.
I'll just keep reading Lonesome Dove. That's what I'll do.
So, book says you read 20 books a month. Is that true?
That is not true. I usually read about 8 books a month.
Okay, I had you pegged at 12. Okay.
No, this month I will probably be closer to 10 or 12, but I've read several very short books this month, which is
Mm.
like weird for me. But I've read 3 or 4 that were under 300 pages. So for me, that's like crazy talk. So this month I probably will be a little bit higher, but usually about 8.
So, out of curiosity, I just need to throw these up here. We got the love from Zen and the hey from Joe,
Hey, Joe.
and I realized that Zen is also undefeated.
Mhm.
So it's good luck to have Zen on your team,
It's like we're a dynamic duo, so.
right? I don't think we're going to be splitting you up. Uh,
If we
so
win a third time, then like it might have to be a rule that we can't be together, but we'll try it one more time.
all right, we've had enough. It's like the Olympic team with basketball. It's like, all right, or at least what it used to be with the dream team.
Right?
So with a readathon, what is the number one thing that you get out of it? What's the number one reason that you say, yeah, I want to do this?
I think for me, it's 2 things. Again, not to keep beating the same drum with the friends thing, but it is nice. And I kind of like being the team captain because then I feel a responsibility to show up because I want to make it really fun for you guys. And I think that anytime you're doing something with a group, like the leader sets the tone. And so it really does kind of force me to I know it's on your phone, so it doesn't really count as like getting out, but it forces me to engage and it becomes really, really fun and addicting in a good way. So I'm excited for the most part to like get in there and just encourage everybody and have them make suggestions to me that I've never heard of and just to goof off. Like we
Yeah.
used to have like late night voice chats and reading sprints and stuff like that. I'm just kind of really looking forward to the social aspect. What was the question? I'm rambling right now. I
Actually,
had
it's
two
not a
points.
ramble. It's
I had 2 points.
the reason you want to do this, the thing
Mm,
that you get out of it. You talk about the relationships and that kind of
mhm.
being part of a community. It
Yeah,
was that
that's
was there.
definitely the main thing for me. But also, getting back in front of the camera is important to me right now. Hey Theo, because like I said, I want to be a YouTuber again. I want to keep making videos, and it's funny how rusty you feel after just taking a year off from talking to your little black rectangle, for me, because I do all my videos on my phone, you feel rusty. And so I'm excited for our weekly chats. We're going to do these live streams to go over the scoreboard. And like I kind of touched on before, I've been craving some structure and a TBR. So this will help me kind of like start to organize what I want to read for the rest of the fall and the winter and stuff.
And Melissa says, allowing any genre. This was a debate with the captains, and the vote actually came out 3-1. Being able to read any genre as part of this, I think, is really interesting. We've got a lot of fantasy fans, we got a lot of sci-fi fans, but if we have a couple of Larry McMurtry's show up, I wouldn't be sad.
I know, and like my book of the year so far this year is literary
Shogun?
fiction. No, it is Demon Copperhead.
Ooh. Okay. Well, now that goes on the TBR.
Yeah, Barbara Kingsolver, Demon Copperhead. I'm right now the fourth person that I've recommended it to is reading it right now and loving it. It came out of nowhere. It surprised me, but that's why I'm excited that we're allowing different genres, because the point is to read. And for a lot of us, like I said, I usually read 8 books a month. This is not going to be a stretch for me, but I'm excited to hopefully recruit some people who read 1 book a month or 2 books a month, so that we can rally around them, share some of our tips, and encourage them. Because, first of all, nobody needs to feel pressure to read 5 books a month every month. But for people who want to read more, if that's what you want for yourself, then like this is the perfect time, because then we all get to do it together. So I'm super excited to just kind of like, again, I hope all the normies are there. I want all my book friends to join, but at the same
Right.
time, like, bring along your friend who like maybe started reading this summer and is like, wait a second, do I like reading? This would be a great time to be like, jump in, try for 5 books. Because here's like the secret: if you don't read 5 books, it's okay. It's okay. Like, you're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to get yelled at. I mean, I can't speak for the other team captains, but like, we're all doing this because it's supposed to be fun. So definitely, even if you're not sure about that push goal of 5, join in, like, see what you can do. You might surprise yourself, but even if you just read 1 or 2 books, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And friendships are the number one thing. The winning doesn't come from the 5 points. The winning comes from the relationships that you develop along the way.
It's like an episode of Care Bears.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really what it is. I mean, there's some books that I read that passed in and out of the transom of my head during the readathon last time, but those relationships don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I remember those conversations. I remember those relationships, and, let them grow and build. And, it just becomes part of your life. And to me, getting all those recommendations is the thing that I love, because you get them from the right people, or they bubble up enough times, and you're like, yeah. I want to read that, because I mean, here we go. Demon Copperhead, right? I read Poisonwood Bible. I loved it. It's also one of the books that I recommended to a friend, and they gave it back to me 2 months later and said, "Why did you give this piece of garbage to me?" So
everything's for everyone.
Yeah, right. It's like, ooh.
And what's cool about the recommendations, because I know you're thinking, people watching are probably like, I get book recommendations all the time. Here's the difference: you're watching somebody read it in real time and update as they go. So when I talk about this, like, friendship, community, book recommendations, in the Keymark Discord, each team will have their own channel that is completely private, just for our team. And like, that's where we live for the month. Like, that's where we go and we hang out, and we're like, hey, I had bacon for breakfast, now I'm going to read. Like, it's just like a fun live feed of everyone chatting. And so what makes it different than a book review or just a generic recommendation is, Tommy's like, all right, well, I'm picking up, I can't think of the name of a single book right now, but I'm picking up Demon
The
Copperhead.
Dragon Bone
I'll let you
Chair.
guys know what I think. So then you hear, 2:00 rolls around. He checks in. He's like, okay. So I read the first 3 chapters, and oh my gosh, I was already sucked in. So you're getting the excitement and the lifetime feedback. Or, you're going to hear people be like, okay, like, actually, I think I'm going to hop off of this one because, it's not so much for me. But then you're going to go, okay, well maybe I would like it, or like, ooh, me and Tommy, we usually align on what we read. You're getting to know people, so you're thinking,
Yeah.
now you're getting more people that you're like, I know I can trust this person's recommendations, or I know this guy and we don't line up on anything. So if he hated it, maybe I'll like it. So it's just getting to know people, and it's just more sources for like, good ideas on what to read and stuff. So,
It's like, you should try this, this, and this. But you realize over the course of the last month, it's like, all she reads is
I should.
romantasy. I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm in
Yeah,
trouble.
Kurt and I aren't the same.
Different tastes. See, Daniel, it's just like the idea of you've been in a slump for a little bit.
Oh, this will kill slumps. This
Yeah,
is
oh yeah.
perfect for slumps
This is
because it brings a
slump
whole nother
monkers.
aspect to reading. Like it really brings in the social aspect, which is so fun.
And the number one thing for me is I experience guilt like drinking water. And when I'm responsible to somebody else for getting as many points as
Like I
I
don't
don't
want to let my
necessarily,
team down.
right. It's like, okay, I'm going to push through. And I know I'm going to be doing audio. And it also gives me an opportunity to read a couple of indie artists that
Mhm.
I want to read, but it's like there's so many books. It's like, okay, when do you make time for them?
And
And
I think
during the
I'm reading
readathon,
3 indie artists next month. I've already
woo,
kind of outlined my TBR. Again, I don't know if I should disclose that. I'm going to make a video this week, and I'm going to talk
sure,
about this readathon, and I'm going to probably go over my tentative TBR for the readathon.
nice. And Theo's actually built some
He's back
momentum.
in black. Yes, he is.
Okay.
He's making videos. He's cranking out books.
And if you don't know, now you know, because these are the prompts that we put together. And I challenge you to find 5 books on your TBR that are not part of this.
Guys, you can really make any 5 books from any library fit in these prompts. So that's one thing. If you're worried that like this TBR is going to dictate what you read, like this TBR quest is not about that. So you can take your TBR if you're one of those people that plans it out quarterly, you already know what you're going to read next month. I betcha you can make all 5 of those books fit in 5 of these slots.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's like the team captains, thank God, are notoriously broad minded. So it's like you get any dark cover, really, as long as it has a dark element
Yeah,
somewhere
and
on
it could
it.
be dark colors, or it could be like dark theme. It could
Hmm.
be like it could have darkness in the title. Like we're gonna be like sure.
You bet. Well, and like I again challenge you to find any book that does not match Summer's Ball.
Right? There's at least a little bit of romance in pretty much everything that has people in it.
Pretty much
I'm looking to let's see a book outside your normal genre. Great chance to read Demon Copperhead if you normally
everything.
read sci-fi and fantasy. Or, you know, there's going to be people who normally don't read sci-fi or fantasy. How much fun are we going to have helping them pick their, what are we calling that one? Um, the
Switching
switching spell.
spell.
Yeah,
Switching
see?
spell.
I can't, I'm like, my glasses need to be like stronger or something.
No, my eyes just need to be 20 years younger.
Yeah, that too.
But the idea is that really anything that is on your TBR is gonna fit in here, and you're going to have a team of people who are dedicated to helping you work your way through this.
Hmm.
So where are you on audiobooks? Are you all audiobooks all the time? Are you half and half? Is it like 1/3, 1/10?
I would say, other than the rare exception, I'm all audio all the time.
Okay.
Like I enjoy doing immersive reading, so like
Mhm.
tracking with my eyes while I'm reading, especially on denser books. Like right now I'm reading a Guy Gabriel Kay book, which is kind of dense in general, but this one specifically I would say is the most dense of any of his books I've read. Most, and by dense I mean that's not really probably the right word because the plot is pretty easy to follow, but the naming conventions and the places and all the different kingdoms and minor lords, they all have names that are really hard for my ears to decipher and like
Mm,
differentiate. And
hmm.
so and I consider myself about as a pro can be when it comes to audiobooking. And this one it's taking me longer to read because I'm pretty much trying to do it mostly immersively. But other than when a circumstance like that arrives, like I pretty much always do audio. It just works best for my lifestyle.
Well, and I did. Oh my gosh, what was the first one? Black Tongue Thief was
Hmm.
my first audiobook because somebody said, "Hey, you got to read this. Give it a shot on audiobook because the author reads it and he does a great job," and he did. And I was like, I don't know if I really like the experience. I like being able to read the words so I know how they're spelled.
Hmm.
So if they've got a Greek or a Latin root that the author's using,
Hmm.
it's like I can identify it.
Yeah.
But last readathon, it was I was 3 out of 5 for audiobooks because it was like this is a solution to get me through the book.
Yeah. It's for my life it has been the only solution. Like I started this when my kids were much younger, but and at that time, I was tired because I had little kids, but now I'm tired because I'm busy and I'm able to audiobook while I'm doing things. So while I'm driving or grocery shopping, folding laundry, doing dishes, we're remodeling our house, when I'm scraping popcorn or whatever I'm doing, I can do it while audiobooking. And it's funny. I saw there's so many misconceptions for people who can't or don't audio, um, because they don't have like a point of reference, but they hear about us speeding the audio up, and it blows their mind. But I'm like, the truth is, first of all, the way things are digitally recorded now, it does not make the narrator sound like a chipmunk, or it doesn't change the pitch at all when you
Nope.
speed it up. So
It
that's the
just
first
removed gaps.
misconception, is they think that it's I'm like, no, that's not what it sounds like. But the other thing is they hear that we're reading, listening to it at 1.8 or 2 times speed, and that just blows their mind, and that's why they think we're getting through books so fast. But the truth is, your eyes track a lot faster than 2 times speed is. It's
Amen.
not as fast as you think. And if you ever do immersive where you're listening and reading at the same time, you'll find that out. Your eyes track, even if you're a slow reader, because I don't consider myself a particularly fast reader, but your eyes read faster than that is. But the difference is the reason we're able to consume more is because we're able to dedicate more time to it. Like I said, I'm doing it while I'm driving and doing dishes and cooking and doing laundry. While eyes only readers are doing that, that's all they're doing. Like they can't read a book while they're driving. I hope not. So that's what, I hear that all the time. They're like, well, it's just because you turn it up so fast. I'm like, no, it's because I'm able to do it for 7 hours a day. If you read for 7 hours a day, you would also read 8 or 10 books a month. I promise. It's just the time. Yeah. So yes, I am an audiobook queen. It's pretty much all I do. I would say 97% of my reading is audio.
I like Daniel's note. Would you like to pronounce that for me?
No, thank you. And that's why the Spider-Man pointing meme. It's
You,
like
you, you, you,
it's
you.
like audio bookers who can't spell the name, and then eyes only readers who can't pronounce the names. Like, but immersive readers, we got it all. And that's one reason I have so many physical books. Is it's the joke is that I call them my audiobook trophies. But really, it's because a lot of times if I'm like, I gotta see how this is spelled. Like this pronunciation is crazy. I wonder how that is spelled.
Yeah, Ben's right on board.
Yes, he gets it.
And he is right about the performances. Uh, eh, Not all the time, but every once in a while, the performance can bring you along on some emotion
Oh
that
yeah,
you may not have experienced.
inflection and yep.
It's when it's
And
one
that is,
o'clock
I
in the
do love
morning.
it when authors narrate their own books because you know what was trying to be conveyed in that scene. Like you not only because anybody can read the words, but where their head is when they're saying that. You know what they're feeling, what they're thinking. So you're able to put in the correct emotion in your voice and the inflections. And not all authors are very good at narrating, but there's this one guy, his name's A.R. Witham, and he's awesome. Like, I'm
All
not just
right.
tooting your
Fine.
horn. I really, really, really was impressed by that when I was reading The Legend of Blackjack. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for with, uh, crimes,
Yeah.
because I
We'll,
loved it.
we'll just do all the self-promotion here. Daniel's reading Rooker Flynn. Boak's reading Rooker Flynn. Joe's reading Rooker Flynn. Thank you all so much. I will say this: doing the performance on an audiobook as someone who enjoys performing is such a relief, because writing a book is the opposite of performing.
Right.
It's like psychic communication, but it's not a performance.
No.
And so being able to
It's
do
almost
that
like
is,
it probably feels like a relief to be able to be like, this is what I said, but this is what I mean.
yeah.
Like, I bet that feels good.
Yeah, and it goes back to Black Tongue Thief, right? It's like, hey, the author decided that he wanted his main character to have an Irish accent. This guy's from Florida, but he went through the process of learning how to do an accent well and consistently throughout the entire book. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it is impressive. I'll be honest, that is not my favorite audiobook narration, but it is impressive.
It is impressive. Doesn't have to be your favorite.
Yeah, right. Not everything can be your favorite. Then nothing is your favorite.
Then nothing's your favorite. Everything is. The idea of getting everybody on board and coming along and just having a good time and partying. I need to say thank you. For you and two other people were the ones that introduced audiobooks to me, and it really was the difference between, like, my normal pace is 2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And reading 5 was really hard, and being able to do it with audiobooks changed the whole thing.
Good.
And I just really want to thank you
That's
for
like one of my favorite things anybody could ever tell me, is not just like, I read this book because you liked it and thank you. But I feel like audiobooks can kind of change your life. Because reading has changed my life, but I was not able to read. Like I said, I'm busy. I have a lot of kids.
busy.
And I'm
I just got some extra kids.
I'm so easily distracted. I just am. So this has helped me so much, and it's opened a whole new world to me. So, like, if I could inspire somebody to try audiobooking, because another tip, this is turning it into an audiobook video, but another tip is that this is a learned skill. If you're not good at listening to audiobooks right away, you're not special. Like, I wasn't either. Like, I have so many people, I tried it, it doesn't work for me. It's not gonna work. It's not natural. But you can train your brain, trust me, somehow. I don't know how, but to kind of let it subconsciously see. There'll be times I think I zone out, and so I'll rewind it and I'll be like, nope, I got all that.
No.
It blows my mind. So you get better at it. You do get better at it.
I didn't zone out. This is just a boring part of the book.
They're just traveling.
They're going from X to Y and Y to Z.
Yeah, they're still on the road. Okay.
Well, I've taken up half an hour of your time, and I don't want to take up too much more than that. And just thank you so much for being willing to be a captain again, and thank you so much for your friendship. And I just love talking with you about books, and I cannot wait for this to start, because, like I said, for me, it's like this break out of all the work into the fun. Yep. And it's just okay, let's go play.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to be a team captain, even though I am somewhat of a has-been at this point. I used to be somebody on the low scale booktube, but
I think you'll be fine. I think that audience is all over the place. Well, that's the other thing I like, is that, you know, the booktubers get a chance to cross-pollinate audiences. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Chell's crowd is going to see you, and you know, Joseph's crowd is going to see Beard of Darkness, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of like what he has to say. I kind of like what she has to say. And then they check out a couple of vids, and then they wind up subscribing. It's like, okay, you find your new people. That's what we're looking for.
And we'll get to sample everyone's personality when we do these scoreboard check-ins.
Right.
And so then you'll be like, oh, that's Beard of Darkness dude. Like he's, like he's my type of sense of humor. Or, like, oh, like Chelsea's adorable. Like you're going to get snippets of everyone's personality. And so even if you've never heard of them, you're going to want to subscribe to their channels. And that's just more fun content to be aware of.
So if you're interested in joining with the readathon, please click in the Discord link below and click under roles, and you'll be assigned to the readathon. And thank you so much, Madison. I will see you on the 30th.
Yes, we'll be back. Bye,
We'll
guys.
be back. See you in a bit. Ciao, Bella.